First Contact's Fatal Mistake. High Admiral Vexthor stood at the command center of the Nexari Empire's flagship, the Eternal Dawn, his four eyes fixed on the holographic display of the newly discovered planet. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, appeared deceptively peaceful from orbit. The blue-green world spun slowly in the projection, completely unaware of the fate that awaited it. Supreme Commander, his second-in-command, Sub-Admiral Corell, approached with a data crystal. Our preliminary analysis of the species is complete. Vexthor's scaled skin rippled with anticipation as he absorbed the information. The humans, as they called themselves, were a relatively young spacefaring race. They had barely established colonies on their own moon and neighboring planet. Their technology appeared primitive by Nexari standards. Chemical rockets, basic particle physics, and rudimentary AI systems. Pathetic. Vexthor clicked his mandibles in amusement. Another species that will serve the glory of the Empire. The Nexari Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the last century alone. Their bioengineered warships, powered by quantum singularity drives, were the pride of their civilization. Their neural-linked weapon systems could target and destroy enemies before organic crews could even react. Victory was not just expected, it was guaranteed. Prepare the first wave, Vexthor commanded. Standard Conquest Protocol. Disable their primary military installations, demonstrate our superiority, and await their surrender. Corell hesitated. Sir, there's something unusual in the data. Their communication patterns suggest. I didn't ask for your analysis, Sub-Admiral. Vexthor cut him off. Execute the order. The first wave of Nexari ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their advanced stealth systems making them invisible to human detection methods. Or so they thought. As they approached their initial targets, military bases in what humans called North America, the first sign that something was wrong came in the form of a massive electromagnetic pulse. The pulse wasn't supposed to affect Nexari systems. Their technology was far too advanced for such primitive countermeasures. Yet somehow the humans had modified the EMP frequency to match the exact resonance of Nexari quantum shielding. 3 ships dropped from the sky before anyone could react. Impossible. Vexthor slammed his armored fist into the command console. How did they? Sir, Corell's voice was urgent. Multiple launches detected from the surface. The holographic display lit up with thousands of points of light. The humans weren't using the primitive missiles the Nexari had detected in their initial scans. These were something else entirely, small, agile craft that moved with impossible precision. They're using our own shield frequency against us, a tactical officer reported, his voice trembling. The weapons, they're penetrating our defenses as if they weren't even there. Vexthor watched in horror as the first wave of his fleet was systematically destroyed. The humans hadn't just been preparing for alien contact. They had been preparing for this specific scenario. Every countermeasure they deployed seemed perfectly designed to exploit weaknesses in Nexari technology that should have been impossible for them to know about. Full retreat. Vexthor ordered, but it was too late. Human ships were already rising from hidden bases on their moon, cutting off their escape route. They had walked right into a trap that had been centuries in the making. As the Eternal Dawn shuddered under the first direct hits, Vexthor finally understood Corell's earlier hesitation. The communication patterns they had detected weren't just random signals. They were deliberate. The humans had wanted to be found. They had been broadcasting their existence into space, presenting themselves as an easy target. And the Nexari Empire, in its arrogance, had taken the bait. Sir, Corell's voice was barely a whisper now. I don't think we're the first aliens to discover Earth. I think we're just the latest to fall for their trap. The last thing Vexthor saw before the bridge was breached was a human ship approaching. Its design was unlike anything he had ever seen. A perfect fusion of technologies from a dozen different alien civilizations, all integrated into something entirely new. The humans hadn't just prepared for invasion. They had learned from every previous attempt, adapting and evolving their defenses with each encounter. They weren't prey at all. They were the ultimate predators, and the Nexari Empire had just become their latest hunt. The tables turn. The Nexari High Command Facility on Proxima VI was in chaos. Emergency beacons flashed as reports flooded in from the failed Earth invasion. Admiral Zira, leader of the Empire's Strategic Command, watched the holographic displays with mounting dread as the full extent of their defeat became clear. How many ships survived? She demanded, her crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the red emergency lights. 3 vessels from a fleet of 50, Admiral, her intelligence officer reported. The Eternal Dawn is lost. High Admiral Vexthor is presumed captured or killed. Zyra's secondary hearts pulsed with anxiety. In 3,000 years of expansion, the Nexari Empire had never suffered such a devastating loss. The humans weren't just defending their territory. They were actively pursuing the retreating ships, methodically hunting down every vessel that attempted to escape. "Show me their weapons technology," she ordered. The display shifted to show detailed scans of the human vessels. What she saw defied explanation. Their ships incorporated elements of at least 7 different alien civilizations, including some the Nexari had conquered centuries ago. But the humans hadn't simply copied the technology. They had improved upon it in ways that should have been impossible. They're using modified Zenthari plasma drives, an engineer noted, but they've somehow solved the containment field problem that plagued the original design. And these defensive systems, they're based on Krylonian phase shift technology, but they're operating at efficiencies we've never achieved. A sudden alert interrupted their analysis. The human fleet had breached the outer defense perimeter of Proxima VI. They had followed the retreating Nexari ships straight to one of the Empire's major military installations. They're not just fighting back, Zyra realized with growing horror. They're using this opportunity to gather intelligence on our capabilities. Every engagement is a data-gathering exercise for them. The humans' tactical approach was unlike anything in Nexari military doctrine. They didn't rely on overwhelming force or superior numbers. Instead, they probed for weaknesses, adapted their strategies in real time, and struck with surgical precision at critical vulnerabilities. "Admiral," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." The holographic display flickered and revealed a human commander. She appeared deceptively fragile by Nexari standards, lacking any natural armor or enhanced biology. But her eyes held a predatory intelligence that made Zyra's exoskeleton bristle. "This is Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force," the human announced. "We are now in possession of your primary fleet's tactical database. We know the locations of all your major military installations, shipyards, and command centers." Zyra maintained her composure, even as her inner organs constricted with fear. "What are your demands?" "Demands." Admiral Chen's lips curved in what humans called a smile. "You misunderstand, Admiral. We're not here to negotiate. We're here to hunt." The transmission cut off, and immediately the human fleet began a synchronized attack on Proxima VI's orbital defenses. Their ships moved with impossible coordination, as if guided by a single mind. Each strike targeted a specific weakness in the Nexari defense grid, methodically dismantling the planet's protection. "They're using our own tactical protocols against us," Zyra's security chief reported in disbelief. "They've already decoded our encryption and are predicting our response patterns." Zyra watched as centuries of Nexari military superiority crumbled before her eyes. The humans weren't just winning. They were systematically deconstructing everything the Empire had built. Each defeat added to their knowledge, made them more dangerous. As the orbital defense platforms began to fall, Zyra finally understood the true nature of humanity. They weren't just another species to be conquered. They were evolution incarnate, adapting, improving, and becoming stronger with each encounter. The Nexari Empire had prided itself on being the galaxy's apex predator, never realizing they were about to meet something far more dangerous, a species that had turned survival itself into an art form. Send word to the Imperial Council, Zyra commanded as she initiated the facility's evacuation protocols. The humans aren't just defending themselves. They're coming for everything we have. And I fear they're just getting started. The last transmissions from Proxima VI reported human ships systematically dissecting captured Nexari vessels, learning their secrets and improving upon their technology. The hunters had become the hunted, and the galaxy was about to witness the rise of a new dominant force, one that had been underestimated for the last time. Hidden strengths. Deep within an asteroid base in the Kuiper Belt, Dr. Elena Martinez stood before the gathered alien ambassadors. The captured Nexari technology floating in stasis fields behind her cast an eerie glow across the chamber. But it wasn't the advanced alien tech that had the ambassadors shifting uncomfortably in their environmental suits. It was the implications of what humanity had achieved. As you can see, Elena gestured to the holographic display. Project Phoenix wasn't just about defending Earth. It was about understanding our place in the galaxy. The display showed centuries of careful preparation, hidden facilities throughout the solar system, and a network of surveillance systems that had been watching the stars long before humanity officially achieved spaceflight. We knew we weren't alone, she continued. The radio signals, the gravitational anomalies, the unexplained phenomena, they all pointed to advanced civilizations, but more importantly, they pointed to a pattern of conquest and expansion. The representatives from 7 different species, all former victims of Nexari aggression, watched as Elena revealed humanity's greatest secret. Earth hadn't developed in isolation. Every alien probe that had ever visited, every attempted infiltration, every piece of technology left behind, humans had found them all. And they had learned. Your civilizations each faced the Nexari alone, Elena explained. Each of you developed incredible technologies, but they were singular advances. The Zenthari mastered plasma physics. The Krylonians developed phase shift technology. The Archons created quantum computing. But humanity, she paused, allowing a hint of pride to enter her voice. Humanity learned to combine them all. The holographic display shifted to show the neural interface labs, where human scientists had reverse-engineered and improved upon alien technology. Unlike other species that specialized in specific fields, humans had developed a unique ability to see connections between different technological approaches, finding synergies that even the original inventors hadn't imagined. The Nexari's fatal mistake wasn't attacking Earth, Elena continued. It was assuming we would fight like them, with rigid hierarchies and standardized tactics. Instead, we gave our ship commanders complete autonomy, letting them adapt and improvise. Every human vessel is a laboratory, every battle an experiment in evolution. A sudden alert interrupted her presentation. The quantum entanglement communicator, technology borrowed from the Archons, but modified by human engineers, showed a new Nexari fleet approaching one of Jupiter's moons. Perfect timing, Elena smiled. You're about to witness humanity's real advantage. The display showed human ships emerging from hidden bases throughout the Jogian system. But these weren't the same vessels that had defended Earth. These ships incorporated technology learned from the recent battles, already adapted and improved upon. We don't just learn from victory, Elena explained as the human fleet engaged the Nexari. We learn from every encounter, every shot fired, every shield frequency tested. Our neural networks analyze the data in real time, updating our tactical databases and sharing improvements across the fleet. The alien ambassadors watched in amazement as the human ships demonstrated their latest innovations, weapons that could phase through Nexari shields by matching their exact quantum frequency, stealth systems that adapted to enemy scanning methods, combat AIs that could predict and counter Nexari tactics before they were even executed. But our greatest strength, Elena's voice grew softer, more intense, isn't our technology. It's our diversity of thought. Every human ship captain approaches problems differently. Every engineer sees different possibilities. We don't just copy technology. We reimagine it, combine it in new ways, push it beyond its original limits. The battle above Jupiter's moon ended quickly. The Nexari fleet, still using strategies that had worked for centuries, found itself outmaneuvered and overwhelmed by human ships that seemed to anticipate their every move. "This is why we've invited you here." Elena turned to face the ambassadors directly. "The Nexari Empire isn't just humanity's enemy. They're a threat to all sentient life. We've proven we can defeat them, but that's not enough. We want to share what we've learned to help your civilizations rebuild and advance." The implications weren't lost on the gathered representatives. Humanity wasn't just offering to share technology. They were offering to teach their method of continuous adaptation and improvement. The very qualities that had made humans such dangerous prey would now be shared with other species. "The galaxy is about to change," Elena concluded. "The Nexari believe themselves to be the ultimate predators, but they never understood the true meaning of evolution. It's not about being the strongest or most advanced. It's about being able to change, to adapt, to become something new. And humanity, we're about to show them what real evolution looks like." The predator's fear. Supreme Overlord Caxthor of the Nexari Empire sat alone in his private chambers aboard the Imperial Citadel, watching the reports of yet another fleet's destruction. The holographic displays that once showed the Empire's glory now displayed an ever-shrinking territory as humanity's advance continued unchecked. "My lord," his most trusted advisor, Mentor Ixis, entered the chamber. "The Imperial Council awaits your decision." Caxthor's scales had lost their luminescent sheen, dulled by weeks of sleepless cycles. "How many systems have we lost?" 17 in the past month alone, Ixis reported, his voice heavy. "The humans, they're not just defeating our forces, they're transforming our conquered worlds into bastions of resistance. Every species we subjugated is now turning against us, armed with human technology and tactics." The Supreme Overlord activated a secure recording from the front lines. The footage showed a Nexari dreadnought, once the pride of their fleet, being systematically dismantled by ships less than half its size. The human vessels moved with impossible precision, each attack targeting a specific weakness that shouldn't have been detectable. "They're inside our systems," Caxthor whispered. "Somehow, they've learned to infiltrate our quantum-encrypted networks. Our ships are being turned against us before they even enter battle." More reports flooded in. Nexari colony worlds were declaring independence, protected by human defense fleets. Former slave species were rising up, using adapted versions of Nexari technology in ways the Empire had never imagined possible. The carefully maintained hierarchy of their civilization was unraveling. "The military command is in disarray," Ixis continued. "Our traditional battle doctrine is useless against human tactics. They don't fight like any species we've encountered. Each of their ships operates independently, yet somehow maintains perfect coordination. They adapt their strategies mid-battle, sometimes even mid-attack." A new alert caught their attention. The humans had breached the defenses of another core world, but this time something was different. They weren't just defeating the Nexari forces, they were broadcasting the battles across all frequencies, showing the galaxy how easily they could dismantle the Empire's best defenses. "They're not just winning the war," Caxthor realized. "They're destroying our reputation. Every victory chips away at the fear that kept our Empire together." The psychological impact on Nexari forces was devastating. Crews were abandoning their posts, refusing to engage human ships. The Empire's once proud warriors, who had never known defeat, were now experiencing something alien to their species: terror. "My lord," Ixis hesitated, "there's something else. We've detected unusual activity in the systems we've lost. The humans, they're building something. Massive structures unlike anything we've seen before." The holographic display shifted to show enormous installations being constructed in the void between stars. They appeared to be some kind of network, but their purpose remained a mystery that haunted the Empire's best scientists. "Have we decoded any of their communications?" Caxthor demanded. "Do we have any insight into their plans?" That's another problem, my lord. Their communications are. Ixes struggle to find the words. They're changing. Every time we think we've cracked their codes, they shift to something new. It's as if they're evolving their language itself. A sudden tremor shook the Imperial Citadel. Warning sirens blared as impossible readings appeared on the sensors. Human ships were emerging from what appeared to be artificial wormholes, technology that should have been theoretical. They've breached our home system's defenses, a panicked voice announced over the comm. But they're not attacking. They're waiting. Caxthor moved to the observation dome, his heart's pounding. The human fleet hung in space like a sword of Damocles, their ships arranged in a pattern that seemed to mock the Empire's traditional battle formations. "Send word to all remaining forces," the Supreme Overlord commanded, his voice breaking. The Nexari Empire seeks terms. As the message was transmitted, Caxthor watched the human ships with a mixture of fear and fascination. His species had evolved to be the perfect predators, adapted over millions of years to dominate and conquer. But in just a few short years, humanity had proven to be something far more terrifying. A species that could evolve at will, turning any advantage against them, adapting faster than biology itself. The predators of the galaxy had finally met their match, and the fear they had so long inspired in others had come home to roost. Empires fall. The Great Hall of the Imperial Citadel, once a symbol of Nexari supremacy, now served as the stage for their ultimate humiliation. Supreme Overlord Caxthor stood before representatives from 100 worlds, former subjects, ancient enemies, and neutral observers, as humanity presented their terms. Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen hadn't come in person. Instead, her hologram stood at the center of the hall, a deliberate reminder of human technological superiority. Behind her, massive displays showed the network of structures humanity had been building throughout conquered space, now revealed as a vast array of quantum tunneling gates, connecting distant systems in ways the Nexari had never thought possible. "The Age of Empires is over," Chen announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. "The galaxy will no longer be ruled by fear and domination. What we offer instead is something your species has never understood: collaboration." The displays shifted to show the transformed worlds under human protection. Former slave species working alongside their one-time masters, sharing knowledge and resources. The very diversity the Nexari had sought to suppress had become a source of unprecedented advancement. "Your choice is simple," Chen continued. "Join us in building something new, or fade into extinction. Evolution doesn't favor the strongest or most aggressive. It favors those who can adapt." Caxthor's scales rippled with suppressed emotion as he watched the evidence of humanity's true victory. They hadn't just defeated the Nexari militarily. They had completely upended the principles upon which the Empire was built. "The structures you've been watching us build," Chen gestured to the quantum gate network, "aren't weapons. They're the foundation of a new galactic civilization. Instant travel between systems, shared knowledge bases, unified defense networks. But most importantly, they're built on technology that requires cooperation to function." The human admiral's hologram walked through the hall, passing through Nexari nobles as if they were ghosts. "Your scientists have already discovered that these gates won't work for ships carrying weapons of mass destruction. They won't transport slave labor or stolen resources. The very physics we've harnessed requires peaceful intent." A murmur ran through the assembled crowd. The humans hadn't just changed the balance of power, they had changed the rules of space travel itself. "But this isn't a prison." Chen's voice softened. "It's an opportunity. Your species has incredible potential, Nexari. Your biological adaptability, your advanced understanding of quantum mechanics, your architectural achievements. These are valuable contributions to a unified galaxy. We're not here to destroy you. We're here to help you evolve." Screens around the hall displayed new Nexari ships, built with human assistance. Vessels designed for exploration and discovery rather than conquest. Their weapons had been replaced with advanced sensors and research equipment. their slave pens converted into diplomatic quarters. The choice, as always, is yours, Chen concluded. But remember, we'll be watching, not as predators, but as guardians of a new age. An age where strength comes from cooperation, not conquest. Caxthor stepped forward, his voice carrying the weight of his species' future. And if we refuse? Chen's hologram smiled, but there was steel beneath the expression. Then you'll learn what humanity does to species that threaten galactic peace. We didn't perfect the art of hunting predators just to let new ones arise. The Supreme Overlord looked around the Great Hall, seeing the fear in his noble's eyes replaced with something new, hope. The Nexari had evolved to be perfect predators, but humanity had shown them a different path. A path where adaptation meant more than developing sharper claws or stronger shields. In the name of the Nexari people, Caxthor declared, "We accept your terms." As the hall erupted in discussion, Chen's hologram began to fade, but her final words hung in the air, a promise and a warning wrapped in one. Welcome to the next stage of galactic evolution. Try to keep up. Outside the Imperial Citadel, human ships maintained their vigilant watch, their quantum sensors monitoring every corner of Nexari space. They had ended the reign of the galaxy's greatest predators not through superior firepower, but through superior adaptation. The hunters had become teachers, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the centuries that followed, historians would mark this day as the beginning of the Great Synthesis, when humanity showed the galaxy that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the power to transform. The Nexari Empire had fallen, but from its ashes rose something far greater. A civilization where every species could reach its full potential, guided by the most surprising predators of all. The humans who had learned to hunt not for dominance, but for peace.